Gemini, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look into your energy for the next week or so whenever you find this message via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through. And I'll also incorporate some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that we can implement to really optimize our functioning, really help support, honor our mind, our body, soul. So let's get into it. I hope that things are going well in your world. We're in Cancer season right now, which is a really nice energy. Yes, it is a water sign, so it does have a tendency to bring up emotions, feelings, make the energy a little bit more sensitive, which, you know, can have its blessings and not so much with it. It's always good to know what our emotional guidance system is telling us. There's information there that definitely needs to be highlighted or coming to the surface. And this also coincides. We have a few planets in retrograde right now. Mercury is one, Pluto and Neptune. And then Saturn's going to move into retrograde at the end of the month. We're also coming up on a new moon in Cancer this week. New moon brings good vibes in the way that it helps really honor and support new intentions that we're trying to set, or making adjustments around the places that we see things aren't working out exactly how we had anticipated. And so it's a great time to make some readjustments, especially as it relates to those things I was talking about a little bit earlier, the things that might make us feel more of the feels, a little more sensitive, places that our emotions are telling us that maybe this isn't the highest and best for us. And, you know, just kind of looking through a different lens of how you can bring more love, support, nurture to your heart this week. I also like to start the readings off with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you do want spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. You can also skip ahead if it's not your vibe. I have all the chapters listed down below, and you'll still receive the blessing, of course. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services, and readings are one of them. Excuse me. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul. I do energy healing, pranic energy healing, as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we do feel strong, grounded in self, that's really where we're able to tap into our happiness, our fulfillment. It's where we manifest the desires of our heart. And I would totally love to help support you in that in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, Gemini, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so I may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. All right, Gemini. So I feel like you're kind of in this mode of just not really putting a lot of energy or emphasis into much, especially if it kind of has negative undertones. Like I'm seeing you feel blissfully ignorant or keeping yourself in that space of blissful ignorance. And I don't say that in a negative way. It has this vibe of like, you just want things to be even keeled right now. And so you're not really looking to rock the boat one way or another. If anything, your energy has a really easy time doing this because you are the twins, right? Your duality. You know how to pop into different roles given the circumstances. And that's a really good, I feel like you have to do it right now. There feels like this is kind of about some type of self-protection. And again, it doesn't have to be that you're in danger or, whatever. I just feel like you don't want to stir the pot. Also, we're getting the hatchet in the overarching energy. So this is an act of removal. It's an act of like cutting away the pieces, the dead pieces specifically. And we're getting the moth, which is all about your shadow self. So usually when we do have to cut things out of our life in a more acute way, it often manifests because it's triggering our shadow self. And I feel like it's maybe a pattern that you've been seeing in your life. And maybe that kind of goes back to that blissful ignorance that I was picking up in the very beginning. Because this is a little bit heavy, but the readings have been heavy. I think it's all the retrogrades we have going on right now. I didn't really specify this before, but have in other videos. Retrogrades slow down the energy. And it also highlights places that we do need to look at things that aren't really serving us, whether that's coming from within you or that's coming from your environment. And this is definitely things that you're not ignorant about. You have awareness. If anything, with the concentric circles, this really talks about these are patterns, or as if that value of like life is like an onion. You peel back a layer, there's another layer underneath, that kind of vibe. So you have awareness around it. I don't feel like this is easy though. Yeah, because you are a little bit spaced out. The space is in your blocked energy this week. Not only spaced out, but like I think a little bit caught in fantasy land. And again, I'm not saying it to throw shade. I think this is that form of self-protection I'm picking up. Because whatever is happening, it's not making you feel so good. And I think it's also in this way that it might be hard to look at it head on and deal with it. It might be easier to just avoid. Or maybe something is getting cut out of your life that you have been trying to hold on to. We'll see how that fares. I'm going to definitely clarify that hatchet, but let's just see what the tarot says. It does feel a little heavy. Like I said, most of the zodiac readings have kind of been this way the last little bit. Because when we do slow down, we can't avoid, right? That is the nature of retrogrades. And I know sometimes, or a lot of times, that's not fun. It's never fun to do the shadow work. It's never fun to see parts of ourselves that we feel embarrassed or ashamed of, or that need a little more love, a little more tender love and care. But a lot of that is about perspective. It's how you want to internalize it. And when we're holding on to things out of guilt, fear, shame, well, it doesn't really help heal the problem, does it? You know? And I don't even know that it's like anything major that we'll see. I don't know if it's anything major. Like this might be, I'm picking up this energy and it might not resonate for everyone. Take it if it does, leave the rest behind. But it might be more a pattern that you're dealing with someone else, relationships, or situations that you keep finding yourself in. Someone has a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety about what new beginnings look like, or places that maybe they're not feeling so financially stable. If this is an issue that involves finances. 9 of Swords, someone's really freaking out, kind of just like very much lost in their head. Worst case scenario. And so it's putting you in a situation, 5 of Pentacles, where you're not really getting the reciprocity or the feedback that you want to be getting. Someone else is so lost in their own world. A world of their own making is what it looks like. I'm not saying 9 of Swords is an easy energy. It is definitely when we like let our fears and anxieties take over. At the same time, it's to the detriment of you. It's to the detriment of the relationship. I don't even know that this person sees it as that. If anything, it feels like they're kind of in their own world. That makes a lot of sense with the Hermit coming out in their blocked energy. Like I was saying, this is a world of their own making. We all have fears and anxieties, but oftentimes when we're like moving into a situation, the fear, the anxiety is what screams the loudest, right? And then when we actually go through it, it's not as bad as what we thought or anticipated. Or if it is, we still make it through and you realize, oh, like I do have the strength. I do have the courage to overcome. But again, that's not necessarily your energy unless you are holding on to certain things. I mean, for you, it's more like you're not feeling like because of whatever this situation person is dealing with, there's not a lot being given back to you. Or you might be rejected or ignored, or there's just something where it's just like, it feels like you're paying the penalty for someone else's stuff this week. And again, I'm sorry. This might be a pattern where people kind of look at you like a whipping post, or like someone's being really careless with your energy, with the relationship, not giving it the value that it deserves. And you're feeling this, right? 5 of Pentacles is when we feel like rejected or we're not being paid attention to. Left out in the cold is the key tagline for 5 of Pentacles. And it does feel, again, this is not necessarily something of your own making, your own doing. It's whatever someone else is going through. It also feels like they have people who are feeding into that fear. And maybe this is a road you've been down with them before, right? Like just in the way that they are kind of careless with the relationship, or they think that you're going to be able to, like they think that they can kind of do whatever they want and you'll still be there to support them, whatever that means. I don't know if they're perceiving you like a doormat, but it's definitely this, because there's so much in their own head, it's zero awareness about you, right? So obviously, right? Because if we're so fixated on our own fears, they're not going to be thinking about you or how it affects you or what it's doing to you. And instead, it's kind of like them holding themselves in their own world. And as if you just have to wait until it's done and over with. But also there's parts of this that are feeling like really overwhelming for you. And if anything, it looks like it's not helping this week. You know, and they might come out of it to some capacity, or there might be something positive that does result from this. But again, it's very much like you have to wait for it to happen. And I think that there still is a hope. There still is a desire that someone is going to come out of it. So I do see you, quote unquote, waiting around. Again, I'm not saying that that's good, bad, right, or wrong. You're going to know your situation best. It feels painful. It feels heavy for you. It feels like it's not really how you want it to be. It also looks like it's something that is helping you eventually establish boundaries. That's the direction it's leading. Like, you don't want to keep looping back into these cycles and patterns over and over and over again, especially if you are the one that's getting the short end of the stick. No one wants to be in that kind of a dynamic. I know as humans, we often keep ourselves in those positions, especially if we care about the individual, whatever that means to you, or if it's something that you do really want to be a part of. We hold on to things as humans way longer than what we should, right? And it's with the fear that there's nothing better to replace it. But oftentimes when we do acknowledge and understand, I'm about to clarify this hatchet, when we do acknowledge and understand the deficits, the difficulties, the places that we do need to release the attachment, surrender the attachment so we can move forward, i.e. Six of Swords, because it's not a pattern that looks like it's going to be changing anytime soon. And I'm not saying this in a fear-mongering way. I don't see you being done with this either anytime soon, or I see it feels like it's at the beginning stages of recognizing it is what it is, right? Ace of Cups, interesting. Yeah, like you're gonna get better offers if you kind of move away from this pattern. And I'm not saying that you have to cut someone off. I don't know, Two of Swords. That is a pretty decisive energy. It's like you either go this way or you go that way. But especially if this is someone that you do want to keep in your life or whatever, you can still adjust how much you invest in the dynamic. You might not want to cut them off. You might not be ready. If anything, the way I'm seeing this energy is you're not ready, right? You're still kind of crossing your fingers, hoping that they'll get over whatever this is. And it doesn't look like, I mean, I can clarify it, but it doesn't look like you did anything to them. Five of Cups, clarifying the clasp, or the clasp, the flask right now. Five of Cups comes out. Ooh, we got the Judgment, wake up call. Well, and this makes a lot of sense why this pattern keeps happening. And the Eight of Swords, or the Seven of Swords, excuse me, or Seven of Wands. Sorry, I can't read. Mercury's in retrograde. But it has this vibe of like, someone's wanting to defend why they're doing what they're doing. This is why it's a pattern, because it's like you get the short, like something happens, then you're the one that's being left out, and you got to wait until they're ready to move on or whatever. And I think you are stressed out that it's you, but I really don't get the vibe that it's you. They might blame you for certain things, i.e. project onto you. But when I'm seeing their Nine of Swords, this is about their own stuff, right? This is their own fears, their own anxieties, the things that they took part in. I think it's hard for you to see through as well, to understand, you might not be getting clear communication. You might not be getting clear answers, or they do weird stuff like, well, you did this. And so, it's kind of like excuses to justify the bad behavior. And I think on one level you can understand, but then on another level you're like, but that's not fair to me, or that wasn't my intention, or whatever it is, And again, there's double confirmation, 5 of Wands, 5 of Swords. We've got lots of 5s. So when we're talking about 5s in numerology, it's the point of change. It's like certain things, dynamics have been playing out, and then we hit the 5, and it's like, now they're starting to have some realizations that pattern, that dynamic that has originally been set up from 0 to 5 is no longer working anymore. It's no longer working. It's not serving anyone. And again, because it's almost like you're giving this person, situation, a platform to act and behave in this way because you are being compliant, because you can understand on some level, or are trying to give the benefit of the doubt, or really want this relationship to work out. And so you're willing to kind of sacrifice. We all have to, right? In relationships, nothing's ever completely 50-50 or whatever, right? Yes, equal give and take is ideal, but there's always going to be times that one side is investing more than the other. But you don't want it to be that way all the time, that it's always on you. And I don't feel like it is that, but when this pattern ends up popping up, that's where it's like not fair to you. Like there needs to be a little bit more evolution on this end, growing up, maturing, moving through, processing through whatever these fears, anxieties are, or not letting them debilitate them so much. But again, this is not their reading. If you are a cross watcher though, okay, soul connection, right? This makes a lot of sense. So we make those contracts with souls before we enter the conscious body. And this is one of those things. It is a pattern that's helping both sides learn, grow, to evolve, to become better versions of themselves. And for you, Gemini, it's about not being so complacent, not just letting someone, have a free for all while not taking you into account of how that actually affects you. You deserve that. You deserve the people, the situations in your life to be cognizant of who and what you are and what your needs are. And that's exactly like the truth that you need to understand in self. Like I was saying earlier, and I know it's a little harder with relationships, but oftentimes we won't get out of something because we're afraid that nothing better is available to us. But when we are more honest with self about our wants and needs, and therefore what we deserve, when we embody that knowing, then it actually does attract soul connections that mirror that back to us. Not as much, yes, we're always going to have karma and blah, blah, blah to work out, right? I'm not saying that, you can hit this point of life being rainbows and, fairies, as much as that would be nice. We're always going to have things that we need to sort through. But the worse we feel about ourselves, the lower we feel about ourselves, whatever, you kind of just don't want to acknowledge, or when we are letting people treat us badly, that is a reflection of self. And I feel like this relationship, this dynamic is helping you see yourself from a more positive lens, a more positive perspective, even if it doesn't really feel that way where you're standing right now. Yeah, I love this. Mindful creation. It's about being intentional. So we don't look at things as humans because it can be scary. But when we are honest with self, that is actually what helps us get out of dynamics we don't want to be involved in. So we can mindfully create. So we can say, this doesn't make me feel so good. It doesn't mean that you have to say F you to it, but you can readjust how much of yourself you're willing to give to the dynamic. And that is called creating with intention. And that's what this is all about for you. Again, like this does look important. And I think, honestly, the more that you step into that power, I think that's actually just going to naturally shift the dynamic. And I think it's a domino effect is what I'm seeing. So yeah, maybe on the surface, and maybe that's where this flask is coming up, because someone is sensing your energy shifting and changing, or that like the dynamics are at a point where it can no longer work in the way that it worked before. And I feel like there is some type of apology or coming back around. Like I said, I don't really get that this is a done deal, but I think that you're also starting to become a little bit wiser with how you do interact and engage with it and how much power you let it have in your life. for this week. So with that, thank God that this is only for the week. Sorry it was a little bit heavy. I do hope it helps though. I do hope that you found messages that resonate for you here, Gemini. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear how it resonates, or just say, hey, sharing a little love, a little TLC. It also really helps support the channel, which if you've made it this far in the reading, thank you for all the love, all the support that you bring my way. Know that it blesses my heart. I love uploading the videos. I hope you get value out of them as well. All right, talk to you later. Have a lovely week. All the love, all the blessings to you.